probably heard the name and seen the stencils on so many RWB Porsches, but what exactly is Idlers? Let's break it down. Founded by Atsushi Seike, the editor of the 911 and Porsche magazine, Idlers Cub is an amateur race series that over the years has grown and become structured around 4 yearly sprint races and 3 endurance races. The sprint races are held at Tsukuba, while the 3, 6 and bigger 12-hour endurance races are organized at the Twin Ring Motegi, Honda's racetrack in Tochigi-ken. We can classify Idlers Club as the epitome of Japanese grassroots racing, standing out for its variety, but at the same time the sheer number of entrants it attracts.
Hey, welcome to a new video and welcome to Tsukuba Circuit. Today I am at Idlers and it's super loud, it's super packed with all sorts of cars. This is the best amateur racing series in Japan. You are able to see so many different cars in one place. We're basically gonna take a look at everything that is shown up today and kind of show how people perfect their cars in order to get the best out of them. I haven't covered this event in quite a while. As ever, there's a lot of Porsches, but then again, there's a lot of Japanese stuff that's here today as well. So we're gonna basically have a nice walk through the paddock and check out what's showed up. And I guess I'll just take it from the bottom here all the way to the back of the lineup, starting off with this 991 GT3 RS from the Czech shop. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of variety. You'll see a ton of Porsches, a good mix of air-cooled and of course the newer stuff, and then we'll get into the Japanese stuff. And always the thing that has kind of really made Idlers stand out for me is the little strange stuff that you find in the middle of the usual cars that you're kind of used to seeing. So we'll be hunting out for that today, but let's start having a look at what else has shown up today. There's this really sick Jägermeister liveried old school 911, all stripped out, ready to hit the track. There's a bunch of 964s here. You get everything from your simple builds to full out crazy stuff. We have another Carrera 2 here. You see the roll cage in the back of this one. Advan racing wheels. Yet another 964 on T37s. It's got a turbo wing at the back. Nice to see some narrow body awesomeness here. I actually missed this Cayman wide body right here at the top. And I apologize, it's so loud here with the cars driving by and the announcements on the PA constantly kicking off. It is pretty sick what you can expect to see at Idlers.
Walking the paddock at Idlers has always yielded unexpected surprises, as you're bound to come across cars you never thought you would find, all meticulously prepped for racing in a way only the Japanese really know how to do. Every subcategory of cars each get multiple time attack outings on track, and the day ends with a 5-lap race for the more advanced group. Since I started covering the event for Speed Hunters about 15 years ago, they've even added a drift component to the proceedings, so if you think about it, it really does celebrate what Japanese motorsports is all about.
So let's get right back into it with this 1973 inspired RSR build. So with this nice lineup of air-cooled, we go right over into this more modern approach to the Porsche thing with this GT3 RS 991. Massive wing at the back. sporting some Agio wheels, PFC calipers, front and back. Got an older Boxster S here. This gentleman here on a wheelchair driving his TTRS. How sick is that? And a really cool old RWB. I remember shooting this car in one of my first Idlers coverages for Speed Hunters and just being blown away by the actual size of the rear wing. Absolutely insane. Proportion-wise, this is one of the sickest RWB builds in Japan, in my opinion. Put together by Nakai-san and also Front Row when it comes to the mechanical work. So right behind the Czech Shop GT3, Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo has just shown up. And I wasn't joking about the variety. You actually get a lot of race cars that participate in this event. Actually, when I drove Idlers 12 hours, I had Kimura-san from Car Guy driving a Huracan Cup car. There's always a few GT3 Porsche Cup cars, and they're basically joining up with modified street cars like we'll see today. Here's another cool one. Sick race spec S13 from Technical Factory Blind. Hopefully we'll take a closer look at the engine when they open it up, but it's pretty much bare bones in here. And I do love the GoPro setup they've crafted here. I'm not sure how that works, but I guess it does the job. All right, as we keep going, another GT3 RS 991. This thing is looking sick. I think it's actually running the Cup BBS setup with a center lock. And I think this is the third 991 GT3 RS with PFC brake calipers. Quite the contrast to the air-cooled side of things here. There's another sick 964. For some reason, there's not that many RWBs. Only the crazy one with the big wing that we just saw. This is from Oyama Autobahn Motors. You get an older 930 here with interesting looking over fenders. I've never seen flares like this before. I wonder who makes these. And right across from it, another 964 from R9 Racing. This is a DDR build. Again, another interesting set of over fenders here. I think I've ever seen so many rivets being used for these conversions. Really clean engine setup here. Look at that intake. That is sick. Alright, so we've actually just put a GoPro inside this sick Jägermaster 930 so we can enjoy seeing this beast out on track. as I mentioned, we will see some Cup cars. We've got a 996 Cup here. We have a 991 Cup car here, actually two of them. Perfectly showing off what the goal is to bring to these events. I mean, if you can afford a decommissioned Cup car for your track car, you're doing things the right way. And look at the wheel and tire package these things run. Like even the rear brake setup is monster massive here. Endurance pads, front and back, and the big front calipers.
Idlers is also where Nakai-san from RWB has honed his skills in racing. Nakai entered Stella as well as a few more of his own cars at Idlers right back from the beginning of Raoul Welt, and in a way Idlers helped him refine and fine-tune his style as he experimented with new aero and stylistic solutions. While this time round not many RWBs ended up coming, Idlers is usually jam-packed full of Nakai's creations, but I think most enter the event when they know Nakai-san himself is going to be there. I've personally driven in the 12-hour Idlers endurance race in Motegi 3 times in the past with Team RWB, by far one of the most memorable experiences of my career. There aren't many events you can race in where the variety of cars vary all the way from a Citroën 2CV right down to a Lamborghini Huracan Trofeo. You learn so much racing at Idlers. It's not so much about balls out racing, but more about a gentleman's approach to motorsport, balancing the competitive element with just trying to have a lot of fun with the car and of course your teammates.
Right, let's take a look at all the JDM stuff as the M3 parks. Okay, so now the session has stopped, so we have a bit of quiet time here. So let's start things off on the JDM side of things. We have a nice Yunus Roadster on RGD2s, and there will be a nice lineup of Hachirokus. Nojima-san is out with his car and a few friends, so we'll be seeing some really cool stuff. Beautiful, beautiful cars today. Another Noji Real team car. You can see the banner completely stripped out. Two-tone Hachi. As a 32 goes by. This is Nojima-san's car from Noji Real, the guy that painted the RWB kit on my 964. And you can see here the Rough World Noji Real. Of course, Nojima-san has been painting Nakai-san's projects for ever, since the beginning of Nakai's venture into Porsches. Of course, Nakai-san used to be a Hachiroku guy. Actually, this runs a 20 valve. I just spotted the engine as I came in before. So I'll have to come back, take a look at what these cars are all running. In the meantime, we can take a look at this really sick S13 two-tone Watanabes at the front. Tons of gritty goodies under here. Really, really well built SR20 powering it. It's got the manifold setup. And of course, the car itself looks absolutely sick. So there was always like a drift portion to the Idlers events here in Tsukuba. I'm not sure if that's happening today. I haven't even taken a look at the schedule or anything. Literally just got here. I started going through the whole Paddock, SICK 180 SX here. And we'll figure out what's going on, but let's keep taking a look at the cars. Get a nice rear shot of the 180 here. Got a lot of aero goodies. Wide conversion, JZX 100. Looks like it's ready to drift, so we might actually see some drifting later on. Get another AE86. Pretty wild S14 build. And it just continues onto another couple of JZXs. I think I'll just walk all the way back to the main paddock area and just show you guys what this lineup looks like. I miss this 996 GT3, black on black. Got a crazy 993 here with a cut rear bumper. What is going on here. Let's take a look at the exhaust setup. That's pretty wild. It's got an RWB sticker, but I'm not sure who actually built this. Looks like it's running some kind of GT2 inspired fenders onto the Boxster section of the event. These cars are getting really popular as a cheap kind of alternative to building a dedicated track car. Cayman S on Yokohama wheels, ending up here with yet another Boxster. And this portion of the paddock has kind of always been the place. Jeez, what is that? Sounds like a bike. Because you always end up finding really good stuff. Oh, it's a Hakosuka. My God. Oh, from ProTech as well. This is one of the most notorious S20 shops around. Specialists in Hakosukas and Kenmerys. Anything from the 70s, really. Come here to hear the Hako. Now that sounds epic as it loops around turn 1. And since I'm up here, the legendary Idler's overhead shot that kind of gives you the entire lineup of cars. What a sick event. So happy I came out here this morning. It's absolutely freezing. Actually, it was snowing most of last night, so it's all melted and it's still kind of wet, but the track is drying quick, so these guys are probably going to hit up some proper times. Right, so we're getting to the other section of the paddock, and this has always been an area where I've always managed to find the more interesting cars, the more unique stuff. You know, the things that you never expect to see. So we'll have a quick look, see if we can find something special here today. So the lineup starts with this pairing of E36s. This is a popular car to kind of get into racing here in Japan, as it is in many other countries. Got another A86 here, running some Yokohama Advan Onis at the back. Eunice Roadster on some old school NK NT03s, Z3 BMW, pair of them actually. Another couple of BMWs, E36, E46 4-door. And here we have a completely roof chopped Honda S600. This is one that we've seen countless times here at Idler's. Such a sick little ride here, single seater, lightweight as they come, and rev happy engine to keep you going. So sick. That sits right next to this beautiful green A86 from Takayama Racing, completely stripped cabin. And there are so many BMWs here, so many 4-doors. It's pretty sick. E36 in purple. Yet another couple of Z3s. We have little Suzuki Swift here. There are a couple, as well as this Beetle, which still sports the Speed Hunters sticker. This has been on it for a while. So sick to be seeing this again. And it just goes to show that it doesn't matter what you bring, as long as you enjoy it. This is pretty well appointed cabin here. Even has a hydraulic brake for the rear, so potentially a drift Beetle. Alright, we're GoProing up another cool car here, the Takayama Racing AE86. The owner, kindly enough, has allowed us to stick the camera inside so we can see how he gets on around Tsukuba with this very lightweight, stripped out Hachiroku. Got the rest of the Hachirokus joining the party, including Nojima-san. Towards the back here is where a lot of single-seaters are usually laid out, and you can always expect to be surprised here. This is a car that's been doing the rounds in Japan as of late. This is a replica of the old Tyrrell six-wheeler, all built here in Japan as a kind of homage to what they did back in the day with the twin wheel setup. This was all an exercise in aerodynamics to kind of keep the wheels contained by the air going over them, not being too much in the way and create drag. And they came up with this insane setup, 10-inch wheels at the front, massive wheels at the back, of course. And this car is actually powered by Suzuki Hayabusa engine, so 1.3 liters. As you can see, there's a lot of these little Formula cars with a Lotus 7 topping things up on TE37s. How sick is that? Still running the Ford engine up front. And I have to say, the whole Caterham thing here in Japan is a massive thing. Japanese people love the Super 7 cars, and of course they modify them like crazy. This is running quantum dampers. Right, so I've come all the way back here, pretty much next to the Dunlop corner. This is another little paddock section that gets used once events get a little bit too crowded. So we'll head down there, check out the Hakosuka from ProTech. Fit RS. There's a bunch of GR86s here, and it just proves again what a popular car this has become, along with the Mazda Roadster, as a really good way to get into some racing on track. And of course, this is the reason I came down here, to check out this crazy Hako that we just saw go out on track. Have a look inside, and hopefully the engine too. I think the owners have actually just walked away, so that's probably not going to happen. Nojima there. I do love the simplicity here. Got a nice set of race RE30s, staggered. Got 18s at the back, 17s at the front. Your Trek spoiler in an A2 style at the back, and that's it. Perfect example of a simply done up NSX. Alright, so as the drifting continues out there on track, I've come back to the other side of the paddock, you know, we were looking at before, because there's always some cool stuff to find here. Just spotted this really cool roadster. Look at the carbon fiber hardtop. Really thick gauge carbon, vented fenders at the front. There is a nice array of stuff here. Here's that M3 we saw before. There's a lot of GR 86s, there's a couple here. There's a nice Lotus Exige and this sick FD RX-7 on Yokohama Advan GTs. Let's take a look at the engine bay. It's got a nice V-mount, single turbo from Gredi. All the Porsches are getting ready for their first outing. Look at this exhaust setup. 3 pipes. We got Tommy's car here with that crazy wing, an equally insane exhaust setup. I love center exit exhaust. Alright, they're rolling out now. This 996 GT3 sounds evil. Man, look at that lineup in the pit lane. That is absolutely wild. So the 991 Cup cars are warming up the transmission and rear end. Keen to see these head out. I just want to hear the sound of a fully fledged race engine out at Tsukuba. So we took a look at this S13 before, but little did I know it was actually running an RB25 with a rather large truss turbo strapped to the side of it. Looking forward to seeing this out on track. Right, I hope you enjoyed checking out Idlers with me. It's always such a great pleasure to come to this event. It really shows the essence of what Japan is so good at, you know, when it comes to prepping cars for the track, but doing so in a way that they always have a very unique style. And of course, the variety is always immense. And even though the event seems to have gotten a little bit smaller, there's always so much to see. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you check back soon for more. Hit me up on dinodc.co for the merch. And of course, you can always support me on Patreon. Hit the subscribe button, give me a like, and it all helps get the videos out there so you guys can enjoy more content from Japan.